You may not know it yet, but after this video, you're probably going to ditch 99% of your kids' toys. If you feel like you're constantly picking up toys all day long, only for the mess to come back 5 minutes later, this video is going to help you because I'm going to share the exact 30-minute method that helped me get rid of almost all of my kids' toys without feeling guilty and without becoming a minimalist overnight and without making my kids miserable. And the best, most interesting part of this is that my kids actually started playing better. More imagination, more focus, less whining, and less chaos. So if you are overwhelmed by toys, stay with me because this video might be the biggest home reset you do all year. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Heaven and I am a Christian homemaker and homeschool mom who loves simple living, decluttering, and creating a peaceful home that really feels like a resting place. And today we're talking about toys because if you are a mom, then you already know toy clutter is not just messy, it's also mentally exhausting. It takes over our living room, our kids' room, and it takes over our sanity. And I want to share with you a method that is realistic, not a spend 3 days organizing toy bins type of video, but a simple 30-minute method that you can do today, even with kids in the house, even if you're tired, even if you're overwhelmed. And I promise you, if you do this one time, your whole home will feel lighter instantly. So grab a donation bag, a trash bag, a laundry basket, or put this on while you clean with me and let's declutter some toys together. If you're not decluttering right now, go ahead and save this video for later because I promise you, you're going to want to come back to it. Here's why too many toys makes kid play worse. Let's start with something that most moms do not realize, and that is that more toys does not mean more play. More toys actually create less play. And I learned this through trial and error. I used to think that the best thing I could do as a mom was give my kid options. More toys, more fun, right? But what I noticed was the opposite. The more toys they had, the more chaotic our home felt. And the more bored they somehow seemed to appear. The more toys we had, the more my kids dumped everywhere and then walked away. And eventually I started noticing that they were not actually playing. They were just searching. They were just digging through piles, pulling things out, getting overstimulated, and then complaining that they were bored. And research backs this up. Studies have shown that when children have fewer toys available, they play longer, they play more creatively, and they focus better. And as moms, we actually see this in real life because kids do not need more stuff. They need more space, more imagination. They need less distraction. So let's talk about why toys can actually become a problem for moms. Let's be honest, the toy clutter is not just about the kids. Toy clutter becomes a problem because moms are the ones managing it. We're the ones stepping on the Legos. We are the ones tripping over the baby dolls. We also are the ones having to babysit those dolls occasionally. We're the ones picking up the tiny pieces, and it feels like it's just never ending. And here's why it feels so heavy. Because toys are emotional clutter, and we feel guilty getting rid of them, and we think someone bought that, someone gifted that to us. My kid used to love that. They might play with that someday. A future child might need it. It costs money. But clutter is not just stuff. Clutter is delayed decisions, and toy clutter is one of the biggest sources of daily stress and motherhood. So if your home feels chaotic, toys are usually the first place to start. There actually is probably a child in the world who needs that toy and might actually enjoy that toy more than your child and more than you enjoy stepping on the Legos. So here's what changed everything for me. This is the mindset shift that makes decluttering toys easy. I stopped asking, will my child be sad if I get rid of this? And instead I started asking myself, does this toy actually serve our family right now? Because we're not called to keep everything for our entire lives. Instead, we are called to steward what we have well. And if the toys are overwhelming your home, then they are no longer a blessing. Instead, they are becoming a burden. And God did not design your home to feel like a storage unit. He designed your home to feel like peace. Corinthians chapter 14 verse 33 says that for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. And I want you to remember this and keep it in your hearts as you declutter, because clutter creates confusion, but a simplified home will create peace. So now let's talk about the 30-minute method. It's realistic and it is fast and it gets the job done. You can call it the 30-minute method or the 30-minute toy purge. Call it whatever you want to call it, okay? But I want you to set a timer, not because you have to rush, but because the timer is going to keep you from overthinking it, because as moms, we just naturally overthink everything. We get emotional, we get sentimental, we second guess ourselves, and then nothing actually gets done, or we just take forever and then we're tired. So set a timer for 30 minutes. Grab 3 bags, baskets, or bins. 1 for trash, 1 for donate, and 1 for keep. That's it. Simple. Trash, donate, keep. And then let's keep going. For the first 1 to 5 minutes, we are going to remove all the obvious trash. So go ahead and set a timer for 5 minutes when you do this. It's going to be a fun challenge that is going to give you so much output and relief. The first 5 minutes is just easy wins. Walk around with that trash bag and grab broken toys, toys that have missing pieces, ripped up books, dried out markers, Happy Meal toys, random plastic junk, toys that your kids don't even notice, won't even miss. And I know that some moms are still going to struggle with this part because they're going to think, maybe I can fix this. Maybe there's a no, maybe. If it is broken and you haven't fixed it in months, it's probably not going to get fixed. So I recommend you just throw it away. And this is how you build momentum. And I promise you, it's going to feel relieving. You're going to feel lighter immediately. So for step 2, this is going to take you another 5 to 10 minutes. So go ahead and reset your timer for another 5 minutes, okay? This is minutes 5 through 10, and we're going to remove the noise toys. And I don't actually mean like toys that make noise, but we're going to remove the toys that create chaos. And this is a big one. The ones that overstimulate your kids, the ones that makes a mess instantly, and the toys that always end in your children whining or fighting. Toys with 45 tiny pieces, unless it's built that way, like, you know, building toys, Legos, nesting blocks, things like that. Get rid of the slime kits, the loud electronic toys, the cheap plastic toys, and toys that gets dumped everywhere but never actually get played with. And now listen, I know what you're thinking, and I'm not saying that toys cannot be fun, but as moms, we have to ask, does this toy create peace in our home? Does it have a good purpose? Or does it just create noise and busyness? Because some toys are not worth the mess, and I had to learn this the hard way. There were toys that I kept because they were fun, but every single time my kids touched them, it was just chaos. And I finally realized if a toy causes stress every time, it needs to go. Put it in the donate pile. You are not going to regret this. So step number 3 is to remove the duplicate. You can reset your timer again for another 5 minutes, okay? Because now we're going to be getting to the halfway mark of this 30-minute method, and this is important. This is the easiest decluttering tip that makes a massive difference. Most homes have duplicates of everything. 8 stuffed animals that look the same, 12 toy cars, 4 baby dolls, 3 bins of blocks, 7 puzzles. And moms keep them all because we think, well, they might want options, but duplicates create clutter. Kids do not need 12 toy cars. They need 3, but they actually love. So pick the best and donate the rest. And if you have multiple versions of the exact same toy, keep the higher quality one and the one that gets played with the most, the one that's going to last the longest. Step number 4 is to remove the toys that your kids just do not play with. So set this for another 5-minute timer, minutes 15 through 20, and now just focus on toys that your kids do not play with. This step is very simple, but it requires some honesty. You have to actually ask yourself, when was the last time my child actually played with this item? Not touched it, not dumped it, not moved it around, but actually sat down and played with it, and for longer than 60 seconds. And if you cannot remember, it's clutter. And I used to keep toys because I thought my kids should like them. Kids don't play with toys because they are educational. They play with toys because they're interesting. Forcing a toy to stay in your home out of guilt does not help anyone. So donate it or let another child have it. If your child loves that educational toy, then that's great. But if they don't love it and they're just not gonna play with it, either put it with the homeschool things and use it for school lessons, or donate it to someone who actually needs it. Step number 5 is to remove the toys that makes cleaning harder. We're making progress here. We are in the long stretch. This is the last 10 minutes, okay? So set another 5 minutes so that you can now focus on those toys that actually make cleaning harder. These are toys like huge doll houses with 1,000 accessories, play kitchens with food everywhere, giant bins of random pieces, or what do they call them, figurines, or craft sets with missing parts, toys with tiny beads or pieces that get scattered. And I even removed my kids' huge bin of Legos and just basically downsized him to a small bin of Legos and put all the rest away in the garage. And listen, I'm not saying you can't have these toys, but you do have to choose them wisely, because if a toy makes your home feel like chaos, it's definitely going to steal your peace. And I don't want you to feel like you're cleaning your home all day long, especially if you don't enjoy cleaning. So if you have toys that constantly explode all over your house, either donate them or store them away and only bring them out occasionally, because not every toy needs to be available every day. Step number 6, this is our last 5-minute stretch. We are going to focus on keeping only the core toys. This is where the magic happens. Your goal is not to keep toys that look cute. Your goal is to keep toys that actually create real play, because the goal here is that we want our kids to actually play. So these are what I call the core toys. These toys are open-ended, they are imaginative, they are simple, they're reusable, they're timeless, they're good quality like wooden. And some examples of the core toys that my children have and have had for years now are blocks. Legos are also imaginative, open-ended, and reusable if you can actually manage them. Dolls that does not have 200 accessories. Toy animals, train sets, play kitchen basics, like keep it simple. Art supplies in a controlled way. Books and a few good puzzles, as well as like dress up clothes, like dress up outfits for open-ended imaginative play. And these toys are powerful because they make your kids play longer, and they also help your kids to play together. They are not going to overwhelm them. They're not going to fight over them. They encourage creativity. They encourage storytelling, and kids naturally thrive with that. Kids are naturally creative. They naturally enjoy pretend play and storytelling. So those are the toys that you want to focus on trying to keep. These are your core toys. So now I want to talk about why kids play better with less toys. These are the things that I noticed after I decluttered a majority of my kids' toys. And my God, he had so many toys. But I know that as moms, we need proof. So I'm going to share what happened in my home after decluttering the toys. The first thing I noticed was that my kids stopped dumping everything out, which means less mess, right? Because there wasn't an overwhelming mountain of options. They actually picked a toy and stayed with it, and it became favorites and loved things that mean so much more to them than a pile of too many choices. And the second thing that I noticed was that they started being more creative, because when kids have fewer toys, they start inventing play. They start pretending, they start building, they start making their own stories. I remember when we first moved here into our vacation apartment, we didn't really have many toys here for my son, and he took out some paper and he drew toys and cut them out, and he has a box of paper toys. I remember a long time ago, my mother used to say back in the day they had paper dolls. Well, my son made his own paper dolls or paper toys. And I thought that that was very, very interesting. The third thing that I noticed is that when the toys that you have are organized and simplified, kids can find what they want easier. They're not going to get frustrated. They're not going to get overstimulated. And they don't feel like they're in chaos. And this is real because when the environment is calmer, your kids will also become calmer. So now I want to share the biggest mom hack that changed everything. And that is toy rotation, because you do not have to keep all the toys out at once. Toy rotation is simply storing some toys away and rotating them weekly or monthly. And what happens is your kids act like they got brand new toys again. They get excited, they play longer, and your house stays cleaner. And that is magic, because fewer toys out equals fewer toys to clean. And your kids will also learn how to clean up their toys, put them in the correct space, and that's a win. A toy rotation prevents you from buying new toys constantly, because kids don't actually need new toys. What they're looking for is newness in their environment, and a toy rotation will give you that. So let's do a quick check-in. If you are enjoying this video so far and you want a simple plan to declutter your whole home step by step, make sure you join my newsletter down below, because I have a free resource for you. It is my 30-day heart and home decluttering guide that is realistic, simple, and made for moms and homemakers who would like peace without the overwhelm. I'll leave the link down below in the description box, and also comment down below toy reset if you are decluttering right alongside with me, or saving this for a future decluttering session. So let's talk about what to do if you feel guilty getting rid of toys, because sometimes as moms we feel guilty for everything. But here is what I want you to remember. Your child does not need more toys. Your child needs you. They need your presence. They need your peace. And if your home is cluttered and you're stressed all the time, that is taking away from your children and what they need. So if decluttering toys helps you become a more calm mom, then it's worth it, because the goal is not to keep everything. The goal is to create a home where your family thrives, and decluttering is one of the greatest gifts that you can give your children, because it teaches them contentment, it teaches them gratitude, and it teaches them stewardship of things that they have. Now, if you're wondering how many toys should you keep, I like to keep enough toys that everything will fit into a toy shelf, a few baskets, or one bin per category. And if toys don't fit into your storage, then you just have too many, because if the toys are overflowing the space, then they're going to also overflow your peace. But a simplified toy system should be very easy for you and easy for your kids to clean up too. And if your kids can't clean it up, then it's probably too much. Even my 1-year-old daughter can put away her toys. So let's talk about the 5-minute pickup rule that is actually life changing. And this rule is going to transform your home. Every day, once a day, do a 5-minute toy pickup. Set a timer, put on some music, sing the cleanup song, make it fun. And the reason that this works is because clutter becomes overwhelming when we let it sit and pile up. But a little cleanup every day is going to prevent the chaos, and it also encourages cleaning from your children. It teaches them responsibility without the stress, because kids can actually handle 5 minutes, but a huge cleanup is going to feel impossible. Now I'm going to be talking about some of the toys that I will never buy again, and this is just trial and error. I used to fall for all the cute stuff. I used to buy things because they looked fun, they looked cute, they looked educational, and they looked like a good idea. But then it became clutter. And here are the toys that I personally avoid now. Slime, kinetic sand, unless you know how to keep it contained, toys with 1,000,000 pieces, cheap plastic toy sets, toys that don't fit into our storage, random holiday toys, and anything that my child only plays with for 2 minutes or less. And the biggest lesson that I learned is that the best toys are the simplest ones, the ones that don't need batteries, and the ones that can be used 100 different ways. So let's talk about how to actually declutter toys without your kids having a meltdown. And this is a big fear for moms. So here's what I recommend. The first option is to declutter when they are asleep. So during nap time or bedtime or early in the morning. This is what I normally do most of the time. And then the second option is to declutter in categories. So don't dump everything at once, but instead maybe do stuffed animals today, cars tomorrow, puzzles next week, so it doesn't feel immediately overwhelming. And then the third option is to create a maybe bin. So like if you're not sure of whether or not to keep a toy, put it in a bin and then store it away. But if your kids don't ask for it in the next 30 days, then just donate it. And I promise that most of the time they won't even notice. And if they do notice and a lot of time has gone by, chances are they've probably outgrown that toy. Now here is why this is going to transform your home. Decluttering toys is one of the fastest ways to change the entire atmosphere of your home because toys are visual clutter. And when toys are everywhere, your home feels loud even when it is quiet. But when toys are simplified, your home feels peaceful. It's breathable again, it feels clean faster, and you feel like you can actually enjoy being in your space again. And that is what I want for you. Not just a cleaner house, but an actual calmer life. I can't tell you how many moms I see on Facebook, on my timeline or in Facebook groups, and they're saying that they're just overwhelmed and they're tired and it's just too much for them. So part of what I do on this channel is share some actual solutions to those common problems that moms and homemakers have. So I want you to hear me. You are not failing because your house is messy. You're not lazy, you're not behind, but you do have too much stuff. And that is something that you can actually fix, and not in a stressful way, not in an overwhelming way, but in a simple, realistic 30-minute reset. And once you start removing clutter, you're going to instantly feel lighter. You are going to feel calmer, and your kids are going to just naturally play so much better because less clutter creates more creativity, and peace is always worth it, especially in terms of freeing up some time to be able to spend more of it with your family, your kids, your spouse, your loved ones. So if this video encouraged you today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're new here, because I post videos every single week on decluttering, biblical homemaking, motherhood, and building a peaceful home that we actually enjoy living in. But before you go, comment down below, less toys, more peace. If you are still here with me, you've made it to the end of the video club, and you are planning on doing this toy reset, because I would love to cheer you on along the way. But that's going to be all for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Happy homemaking.